Alright, something's wrong with me. I keep thinking that it's okay for me to play these carpal tunnel inducing click farm of decks. We're taking a look today at the new and improved Yawgmoth combo. This was a deck that was making the rounds, maybe about a month back. A deck that was playing Yawgmoth, Young Wolf, and some effect like Eyeless Ilkor Sadistic Pilgrim, which when something on your battlefield dies, your opponent loses a life. So what we were doing here is with a Yawgmoth on the board and two Young Wolves, you can target one of your Young Wolves to put a -1/-1 counter on it, and basically sacrifice the other one as payment for Yawgmoth's activated ability. And what would happen is the one that you sacrifice as payment would come back as a 2/2 because of its Undying ability, and then presumably the one that you initially targeted had already been sacrificed, so it came back as a 2/2. So you would put a -1/-1 counter on the 2/2 and sacrifice the 1/1 in order to basically flip their states. And that meant that you'd be able to just flicker your Young Wolves indefinitely and find your Eyeless Ilkor at some point with the Yawgmoth draw triggers, at which point you would cast it and then kill your opponent. So we got a little bit of a upgrade to this deck with the addition of Court of Calling to Historic. This came out in one of the recent anthologies, and it is a component of the modern variant of this build. So we're doing a little bit of a jank historic take on this. We're running Yawgmoth, and we have Court of Calling in order to find him. Court of Calling is both an instant, but also has Convoke, the two relevant pieces of this card. So we want to be playing a decent critical mass of creatures. Things that are good for this are, of course, our Young Wolves, our Mana Dorks, and Delighted Halfling and Gilded Goose. But we also get double duty out of Orcish Bowmasters, a card that, brings two bodies onto the battlefield when it comes in for the price of two. So that's really great for our Convoke. Prosperous Innkeeper, also a ramp card that essentially once you create the treasure, doesn't really do a whole lot. But in this deck, it can also essentially just be tapped for mana, so that's pretty nice. And then we've got a couple of toolbox cards and one-ofs in Fiend Artisan and Hapatra, which, just help. And then we have 4 Tyvars that can help us find these little tiny creatures in order to put them onto the battlefield. His his passive ability of being able to activate creature abilities with haste is pretty much irrelevant here. We have no activated abilities on any of our creatures, but being able to return a creature with CMC 2 or less is really strong, since if you look at our curve, almost everything is 2 and 1. We're also running 2 copies of Eldritch Evolution here. In my original build of this deck, I was relying pretty heavily on this as we didn't have Court of Calling, but now that we do, we can run essentially 6 tutor effects. Eldritch Evolution being pretty good because any one of these 2-drops can be used to find a Yawgmoth, and literally any creature can be sacrificed to Eldritch Evolution to find a 2-drop or less, which is pretty interesting. So your Orcish Bowmaster creature token, that 1/1 that is essentially pretty useless, can get sacrificed in order to find, a second Orcish Bowmasters. And you could theoretically, do this a few times if you wanted to. It's kind of cool. A lot of the times we're going to be tutoring for Eyeless Ilkor when we have a kill set up, so that is something that we would maybe want to think about. We can also find Hapatra, and we can also find a Fiend Artisan if we want to set up a next turn play of finding Yawgmoth. A lot of things that we can do with this deck. It's pretty powerful, and it is a tight, compact toolbox. So let's hop in some games here and play a few games with Yawgmoth combo. Here we go. Alright, so we have our round 1 here. If this had a black source as well, I'd be pretty happy about it, but we're going to ship it back because we do not. We have both of our Eyeless Ilkors in hand, which is not super good. This does cast Prosperous Innkeeper, it does cast Orcish Bowmasters, and it does eventually get a Tyvar out. So it's really not the worst. Plus we do get a decent amount of life gain. I am going to give this one a try. I'll keep 6 bottoming an Eyeless Ilkor, which is exactly where we want to have that card. We'll drop out a Hive of the Eye Tyrant and then probably play Prosperous Innkeeper on 2. The Sage will have to be used as a land today, not a spell. Oh, okay, so this is the Wizard's deck. Sure. Put that out. Let's start to gain some life, and that is probably the best thing that we can be doing against this deck. So I can play Eyeless Ilkor plus Bowmasters to gain a bunch of life. That feels pretty solid. I'll decide to not block here. See what our opponent decides to do. This is Red Horde Arcanist. I think it's worth it to shock here. Play our Eyeless Ilkor. We will definitely chump block Dreadhorde Arcanist next turn. And we will go ahead and pass here. See what our opponent does. We'll respond to any burn or removal with our Bowmasters. And we will try to ambush the Dreadhorde Arcanist and kill him with our Bowmaster if possible. So we'll see if our opponent makes their third land drop here. This is just a Symmetry Sage. Fine. And what spell are they casting? Looks like a burn spell into my Eyeless Ilkor. Sure. So we will go ahead and Orcish Bowmasters here. Let's go ahead and deal 1 to the Arcanist here. We'll gain a bunch of life, go back up to 22. Alright. And we'll see if they want to attack with Arcanist now. Yeah, that probably makes sense. They'll be able to kill something, probably the Bowmasters, and then I think I still need to trade. Alright, sure. I think definitely Arcanist is the creature that needs to be dealt with the most here. And with 4 mana here, I can just Tyvar and bring back something. It'll make Tyvar an annoying thing to have on the battlefield. And I think that this is definitely an Orcish Bowmaster back. Let's deal to the face. And we will absolutely trade with a Soulscar Mage if given the chance. I'm fine to let Tyvar die here. It's okay. EI. Alright, so Symmetry Sage likely killing Tyvar this turn. Better than my face is what I always say. Okay. And what happens now? Do they have another spell? Oh, okay, another burn from Bowmasters. So we're definitely blocking Soulscar Mage at this point. Just treading water here until we can get our next spell. Hapatra is not bad. So that will scale out with Mr. Yawgmoth here, in case we ever get the opportunity to play him. Snapcaster Mage on something. Alright, Wizard's Lightning. If they end up targeting their Snapcaster Mage with Symmetry Sage, then I kill it. Sure. I'm going to attempt to ambush the Soulscar Mage. I think actually what I'll do is just kill the Snap Mage and then just block here. I'll take 3. This saves Bowmasters another turn for killing Soulscar Mage potentially. And now I have a Hive of the Eye Tyrant as well. I gotta think about if I want to be using this offensively or defensively. I think I probably want to use it offensively now because they're tapped out. Alright, and then we'll get rid of Just a spell out of their graveyard, I guess. We go to 10. We're at 13. They might kill us here. We'll see. Just 1 damage in combat. Love to see it. Secondary Dreadword Arcanist. And a Soulscar Mage. Wow, that's tough. We'll play an Innkeeper here. Get some mana, and we are just going to hunker down and try to survive. They can probably deal with both of our creatures here, if they have any sort of 1 CMC, or even 3 CMC burn. Oh, they're just going right in. I think I keep both of my creatures here. Wow. Beseiju. That doesn't help me here. Doesn't help me at all, actually. Yeah, so that's going to be a problem. I suppose I just say... If my opponent didn't have a blocker here, I'd be fine going in with Hive Tyrant saying, okay, it's a 2-turn clock. I think what I'll have to do is just pass here and use Hive defensively. Snapcaster Mage, so they're just going wide. They seem to only have creatures. It is definitely still possible to find our way out of this. We just kind of have to get lucky. Yeah, I mean, they can go ahead and get all the way in. I should have absolutely ambushed with the Hive of the Eye Tyrant. What am I doing? Guess we'll save that for next turn. That was kind of a misplay. I should have taken out Arcanist here. Alright, well... So here's Tyvar. Tyvar can do something.
Let's pound these metal monstrosities and never give up.
Looks like it's probably going to be Bowmasters here. We want to get the most life gain that we can. So we'll take the Snapcaster Mage out, deal damage to our opponent. Oh wait, no, it's just 1, that's right. So we go to 6 now. We got some blockers. We do not decide to attack, and we end our turn. So now, as long as it's not burn that's being faced against us, we should be okay. If they can deal 3 to my face, then Symmetry Sage is enough to kill me. We just have to hope that it's not that. So they're playing this one kind of slow. I wonder what's going on their side. Birthday Escape, okay. So this is... We'll resolve this. They get their Prowess triggers first, that's annoying. So we get 2 damage here. Wonder if we should kill an Arcanist. We should try to kill the Arcanist. We should probably try to kill Symmetry Sage, honestly. Now we have a creature that can deal with Arcanist. So if they attack with Arcanist... No, they're not going to attack with Arcanist. Interesting. So they'll put us to 3. I'm perfectly happy to just keep my life total as high as possible. We are dead to any sort of burn here, but we were dead pre-combat to that same movement, so it's fine. It's another Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay. We have to draw something good here, basically. I mean, should I just besage you something just to besage you something? I don't even know. I suppose I'll just take out a Steam Vents, they'll just get one back. That's kind of just like a dead draw right there. I suppose I could have used it as a temporary extra mana in the event that I don't draw land, but who knows. We'll see if that ends up biting me, but I highly doubt that it will. Okay, so what's gonna happen here? They find their island. We get our young wolf. This would have been great if we had just found a freaking, whatchamacallit, Yawgmoth. So, alright. We will have to just young wolf here and untap something. Still technically not dead. Let's move to combat. And I'm wondering if I should Hive of the Eye Tyrant here. I say I'm gonna do it. Auto pay. I'm going to go in with 6 power. Let's exile the draw card that they could cast. They go to 4, wow. And then we will plus untapping our
You've got this.
Orc army. So again, they have to find burn or a spell here. I would be really surprised if we limp over the finish line successfully. But who knows? This has definitely not gone ideally for my opponent. Seeing as we are 13 minutes into a game where they ideally wanted me dead a long, long time ago. Okay, so we get to deal 2 damage to them. They get to make 2 pretty large Dreadhorde Arcanists. And we actually, I'm pretty sure, are dead. Trigger, if I had kept my second Bowmasters alive, they would have been dead with this play. Here's a late versus lightning. This should have just gone to face because, well, actually, you know, no matter what happens, I'm still dead, I think. Yeah, I take 3 in the air, and then no matter the blocking configuration, 2 Dreadhorde Arcanists does an extra damage to me. So they do have me dead to rights here. I'll let them move to combat here and do the final blow. They will strangle, and that is fine. So opponent's going to take round 1 here. I think we played pretty decently. Got pretty unlucky with some of the draws down the line here. Tyvar was able to find us something, but it was ultimately not enough. In order to save us some clicks here, we're going to go ahead and concede here and hop into round 2. Alright, it is round 2. This hand's a bit better than the last one that we started with. I'm inclined to keep it. Now, if I shock my Overgrown Tomb, I can get going pretty quickly here. And so I think that's what I'm going to do, especially after my opponent has also ramped. Pay 2 life. Here is a Delighted Halfling. So this is Tyvar on turn 2. I think it's worth paying another 2 life for this. So we're seeing Dig here. Wonder what their late game use for that search will be. Pay 2 life. Tyvar. Let's mill. Alright, we have one option here. We'll get the Young Wolf. And we have our combo in hand here. Alright, looks like we're going to lose our Tyvar. That's fine. It did what it needed to do. So here's this. Let's activate this. And let's find a white mana source here, because we do eventually need to get our Blood Artist effect onto the battlefield. And what can I do now? I have 3 mana, so I can play Orcish Bowmasters plus Young Wolf, I guess. Could also play Hepatra as well. Hepatra might actually even be better because our opponent right now doesn't have any blockers. So let's do this. And it tapped incorrectly, so that's annoying. I'll just swing in for 2 then. Oh, actually no, this takes 2 pips, so I couldn't have casted Young Wolf as well. It's fine. We don't need it. Rakma. Whoa. That's not what I was expecting. So I'm thinking that what we'll do here is maybe just have a setup turn where I play a Young Wolf, where I play a Prosperous Innkeeper, hold up Orcish Bowmasters, and then have something to do on my following turn with Yawgmoth. Should be a combo turn from there. The Ozolith, interesting. So I will Orcish Bowmasters in. Try to take out their Grakma, I guess. Looks like they have removal of some sort. That's fine. Hepatra's not the issue. Hepatra would have been pretty good. Let's say Young Wolf and Token. Alright, sweet. And we should have just enough mana here. And Grakma makes a Hydra when he dies? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now we have Yawgmoth, uncounterable. Into Young Wolf, auto-pay. And we have Court of Calling for 2. 1, 2. We'll just use the auto-pay. We will find our Eyeless Ilkor. And now we can execute our combo. So the combo looks like this. First of all, I need to go ahead and into gameplay settings and auto-order triggered abilities, or this will be very annoying. We're going to target our bigger Young Wolf, sacrificing our smaller Young Wolf. This is going to do its thing, blah, 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 blah. And we will Yawgmoth, targeting our big Young Wolf, sacrificing our tiny Young Wolf. And that is basically the combo. As we get more Chords of Calling, we're able to continue to do our thing, and eventually we're able to drain our opponent out. Thank you to our opponent for deciding to actually just end the game there instead of making me have to click through this the entire time. I will tell you from having done this type of deck many times in the past that it is a lifesaver. So props to Mr. Opponent over here. You are a real one. Either way, that is our round 2. Let's hop into round 3. Here we go. Alright, it's our round 3. We have a 1 lander, so I think this is not a thing that we want to take. Gilded Goose, like, if my opponent had taken 7, I could have maybe seen a line where I play Gilded Goose into Prosperous Innkeeper and just hope Court of Calling works. But I think ultimately I'm going to mull this one. I am not that bold. So this is a good hand. I'll definitely just bottom our Eyeless Ilkor. That way we can Court of Calling it up when we need it, and otherwise it's stored on the bottom of our library. So definitely a hand that we'll keep, and I'll probably do something like Forest, Halfling. Let's get rid of this. Forest, Halfling, Fabled Passage, Young Wolf, and then Blowmasters is the next play. Finding an Overgrown Tomb does change things a little bit. I'll probably just do Young Wolf plus Bowmasters then on turn 2. And we're like so close to being able to just cast an uncounterable Yawgmoth really quickly, and being able to minus, or to put a counter on, a -1 counter onto the Soul Warden will be huge here. We do love to see that kind of action. So I'm paying 2 life here, and I'll instead play my Gilded Goose. We will, well, okay, I guess I could have Bowmasters first, but okay. We'll go ahead and hold this up for when they cast something here. Once they devote their mana to a spell. Alright, so that's Heliod. We will Bowmasters in response. Take out the thing that's giving them life. And here we go. If Heliod ever becomes a creature, then I can Yawgmoth him out of the way, so I'm really not worried about a Heliod on the battlefield. Alright, well, seeing this stupid thing come out, I am a little bit more worried, but we will be able to Yawgmoth right now. Auto pay. We will hold full control. They are going to attempt to do their thing. I will target their Soul Warden and sack my Orc Army in order to kill that thing. And they will get their life trigger, which they will probably target Gilded Goose with. I suppose I could have fizzled it if they had decided to put it onto their Soul Warden. Now the question is, do I want to sack a Gilded Goose and Delighted Halfling in order to get a counter off Gilded Goose? And I think the answer is no. Let's go ahead and thin our deck. We'll find green, since Court of Calling does take 3 green. And we'll pass. Next Fabled Passage fetches white for me. That's how I want to do it. And this next turn I have the opportunity to get some value out of Young Wolf, or I can play a Tyvar. Actually, sorry, I can do both. So I can Tyvar, play the Young Wolf, use it up through Yawgmoth, and then Tyvar it back, unless I find something else that's better. I think that sounds pretty solid. Okay, so they have Scurry Oak. This is a thing that we're going to want to definitely kill. So I will keep an eye on to that. Let us go ahead and play Young Wolf. So we essentially have an answer for Scurry Oak, and then now we have Tyvar. So let's Yawgmoth, target, sacking. Alright, done. Yawgmoth activation on Scurry Oak, sacking our Young Wolf. We find Court of Calling. We only have 3 creatures on the battlefield, though. Alright, we can get a Prosperous Innkeeper back, but I think Young Wolf is just good. So we will go like this. And then I will decide to swing in with our Yawgmoth. If they block, I kill it. If not, I get to do my thing. Sweet. And we will end our turn. So next turn, we do have Court of Calling to find something. Oh, they might be trying to kill Yawgmoth. He is pro-humans, which I think in this deck is not going to matter at all. Opponent can attempt to kill Tyvar, but my Gilded Goose can block. Let's block. Okay, they're going to give it lifelink, which means I'm going to give it a -1 counter with Young Wolf. Now it will deal no damage, and thus will not lifelink any damage. Sweet. Alright, cool. That may have lifelink, they'll just bounce off of each other. Sweet. And we go to my turn again. We find our next Young Wolf, which means that we can combo this turn. So let's go ahead and Young Wolf. And opponent sees the writing on the wall there. So if the line is not clear here, I'll go ahead and explain it. We have a couple of ways to victory here. So with 2 Young Wolves on the battlefield, we have infinite draw essentially, and we essentially have a total of 3, 6, 7, 8 mana with both our Convoke and our existing mana. So we can use 3 of it to do an Eldritch Evolution for just something, and then we can Court of Calling out our... Okay, so actually it doesn't even matter. Because we have this sacrifice loop, we just Court of Calling for our Eyeless Ilkor, and we're just done. Additionally, we could Eldritch Evolution something if we have enough mana left over. For example, after the Young Wolves come back, we would be able to potentially just go ahead and get our a second Eyeless Ilkor, or we can find like something else that we're looking for, like an Orcish Bowmasters, and that will be enough to kill our opponent. Okay, so that was our round 3 out of the way. We have round 4 coming up. Stay tuned. Okay, we're in round 4. This hand has a lot of the things that we want to have, so I'm down to keep it. We get to play Young Wolf and either Eyeless or Orcish Bowmasters next turn. Luckily, Delighted Halfling can produce the white mana for Eyeless Ilkor, so we're kind of happy to do something like that. Sigarda's Aid. Okay, so we have a potential issue here. And a Shadow Spirit, my god. Okay, so let's do this. We can play a Young Wolf, and then we can hold up Orcish Bowmasters. No, we cannot, darn it. We can Court of Calling for another Young Wolf, I suppose. Oh, Psych, no we can't. We can pay for 0 and that's it. Well, that is pretty annoying, but it is what it is. That's what I get for not playing my Land War Waste this turn. There's the Cacophony Scamp, sure. I am being absolutely punished for my Orcish Bowmasters. Oh my gosh. Alright, fine. Alright, we got a big Cacophony Scamp. Luckily, Young Wolf is a pretty good thing to have in this situation. They don't even decide to attack, so they might be just trying to fling this in my face or something. So Court of Calling is for 2 now. We might want to do something about that, but I think what we really want to do is get Eyeless out. Oh man, but we only have 1 black. Yeah, I think we need to get Orcish Bowmasters out and then use Eyeless plus Court of Calling next turn. This is pretty inconvenient, but we're going to play it like this. So if my opponent even attacks in, I can Young Wolf, and then I'm essentially not losing a body. If they equip Shadow Spear, however... Oh wait, I'm just going to die this turn, aren't I? Yeah, if they equip Shadow Spear, I'm dead. Okay, well, darn. Yeah, this could have absolutely been avoided by an Orcish Bowmasters off of my Llanowar Waste turn 2. Unfortunately, just really missed the ball there. So, if I were to block... I'll take 12 when they sack the Scamp. And even if I block, I'll just take 9. So yeah, we're just dead. I could have just spent Bowmasters to, like, survive a bit, but it's fine. I think the mistake has been made already, and it's worth it to just show that. So we take a Cacophony Scamp for 12, and we are dead. Fast game. That's what happens when you play Hammer Time. We're hopping into round 5 next, so stay tuned. Here we go. I think this is an opponent that I've played before, the Lord Sephiroth. Pretty cool. Anyway, this hand is not terrible. I'll keep. And so this time we can use Delighted Halfling to cast our 2-drop plus Young Wolf. So this is... No. We want to make a green mana here. Play like this, and then we also get Young Wolf. There we go. That was almost bad. So if our opponent creates any sort of creature, we can just Yawgmoth plus Young Wolf and actually just go infinite with Hapatra, so we can actually just take out our opponent's entire board here, whatever they play. Okay, so what I will do in this case is probably just hold up on Yawgmoth. We have essentially 6 mana with Court of Calling, so playing Yawgmoth would be good. Let's go ahead and move to combat and see what my opponent does. I will put a 1/1 counter on a Young Wolf. And we get Undying plus a Snake. I mean, I could just Yawgmoth. Oh, it does resolve. Wow. So we will wait until their end step and then just draw a bunch of cards with Yawgmoth. We can just target the Snake, and we'll be chilling. So they'll need 2 spells in order to not allow me to draw a bunch of cards, so... Love to see that. And then, of course, we will be able to use Court of Calling in order to... What? They're going to Blue Sun's Twilight this? Well, let me tell you what I can do here, Sonny. I can sack my Young Wolf. And I can make Snake. Alright. So Blue Suns essentially did nothing. Here's another young wolf, and now we need to, I believe, use Court of Calling for 1 to find another young wolf. Then we just start going off with our Hapatra, and we kill our opponent in a turn. Alright, well, that was yet another way to find victory in our Yawgmoth combo deck. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is a pretty fun deck to play. It is ported over almost entirely from Modern, now that Court of Calling's in Historic. We're just missing a few cards here and there. And maybe one day we're going to have some absolute Modern power here in Historic. That's a fun day to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can show your support for the channel by dropping a like on the video if you liked it, commenting down below any sort of thoughts you had on the video. Do you think I could have played something different? Do you like the deck? What do you want to see coming out of Modern after this deck is fully in Historic? Things like that. You can also show your support if you are a new member here and have not subscribed to the channel before. You can show your support by subscribing to the channel. We post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you can look forward to those as well. That being said, that's it for me. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.